What? What happened? Oh, dang, now I gotta fix the audio.
Hey, what I'm going to be doing for you today is showing you how to test your computer's power supply. This applies for any power supply for any computer. They're all put out the same voltage per wire, depending on that color wire, but everything is the same. All right, and first, before you get into testing the power supply, you just might want to check that your cord is putting out the right voltage. And how you do that is you have your multimeter. What you're going to need today is a little wire to turn on a power supply. It could be any wire. You can even use a paper clip, just something conductive that's a wire where you can jump the power supply. And I'll show you what I mean by jump here in a minute. But you're going to go ahead and test your cordage, making sure you got the right voltage output from your wall. And here in America, we got 120. Depending on where you at, you might have 240. But we're going to make sure we have 120 coming out here. And give or take, this time of day, we got about 116 voltage being put out the wall. And it could get close to 120 maybe if everybody wasn't using electricity in the home or anything, basically, for that matter. But we're all using that same power that's coming in our homes. So 120, we got it 5 volts, give or take. So we got the right power coming into our cord. Let's get our multimeter back on 20 volts because the power supply doesn't put out anything more than 12 volts. So we don't need to have it on 200 and big things like that. Now I'm going to plug this power supply up, and as you can see, it does not come on. You see that fan is off there. Now, once we jump our green wire to any black wire, that's going to turn our power supply on. And actually the one that's right next to it, this is what happens when you press the power button on your computer. It turns on your power supply because your power supply remains powered up, right? But it's not constantly putting power out to your board. This is how it puts power out to your board. So if you count 1, 2, 3, 4 over, that's your green wire, and you can put the other end of your jumper on any black wire. But I'm going to use the black wire right next to that green wire. And as you can see, my fan is on. So I have a good working power supply here so far. It is coming on, and this works for, again, like I said, any power supply. Now, what we're going to do is go through and test, make sure we got the right voltage coming out of each wire here. And I'll have this in the description. But for orange, you get 3 volts. Red is 5 volts, and yellow is 12 volts. Let's go ahead and start with this orange and yellow here on the other side first. And you can use 1 ground when testing this, folks, too. So I'm going to go ahead and use the ground that my jumper is on, just cause. And the first wire I'm going to test, I'm going to put the meter up so you guys can see it. I'm going to test that orange. As you can see, my orange is working fine. I got 3 volts coming out. Next is 12. I know it's 12, but next is yellow. I'm saying 12 because I know yellow puts out 12 volts. And there's our 12 volts for our yellow. And now I'm going to go ahead and skip on down here to red. And we got 5 volts. So our power supply is working fine. Now I want to go ahead and test this wire here because this frame right here is what will actually turn on our fan for the computer. So make sure we got, as you can see, that's black and yellow. So I should have 12 volts coming out of here once I test this here. And there go my 12 volts coming out of there. So my power supply is fine, folks. If If you did this on yours, your power supply is fine. If the power supply is fine, your next problem is going to be within your motherboard or something around there. But don't throw that motherboard out before you test it. Thanks for watching, folks. Happy testing. Peace out. Share this with your friends.